it's amazing some of the foundational verses like 2.7, 2.11, 2.14, because chapter 2 in Bhagavad Gita is a summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita. It's like Krishna had already given everything to Arjuna just in chapter 2. And Arjuna asked further questions. Hence, Krishna elaborated in the rest of the chapter. But chapter 2 is so important that reading it again and again and based on our own personal circumstances, which keep changing. So there was a time I was a student, then I was a young professional, then got married, then the kids were little, then the kids growing up. And at some point, kids will go away, and at some point, the body will go away. And in one verse, so it's so interesting, just in one verse, that the kind of discussion were happening, that if we remember that, then how beautiful life will be, because it continuously changing, but the relationship we have with the Lord, with Krishna, that seems to be the only one which never changes. It's like fire is hot, and that intrinsic quality of fire will never change. Fire was hot million of years back. Fire will be hot till the end of eternity. If fire is not hot, then it's not fire. We will call it something else, but not fire, because the qualities make that thing or that person as that. And very similar for spiritual beings, we say that whether somebody is Brahmin or not, based on the quality somebody exhibit. So if we are Satchitanand, but if we exhibit those qualities, then we are true spiritual. Otherwise, no. Hare Krishna. Yes, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, when we are talking of the quality of the fire being the heat, that's when it comes to my question, which is the dharma. I find it hard to understand what is actually dharma. They say it's your quality or it's your characteristics, it's your dharma.
Yes. Yes.
But I find it, what is my dharma? They say, I've tried to look into this, asked other people, but I don't seem to understand that what is a dharma, my dharma.
Yes. That's true, Mataji. So we translate dharma in Sanskrit to dharma in Hindi to religion in English.
Yes.
Now, dharma to religion is the closest translation, but it's not, because somebody can change the religion. Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, we can change the religion, but we cannot change the dharma. Now, what is dharma? It's like what we were saying the day. The only responsibility of parents is for the kids to identify what they are good at. So give them the supporting environment so they can really truly find what they are good at. Not to make them good, but just to realize them that what they are naturally good at. Now, when we say what naturally, that's what dharma is. So, for example, Srila Prabhupada ji engaged different devotees in different services. So somebody was naturally. So what comes naturally, that's dharma. So fire is naturally. Fire doesn't need to do anything. Of course, we can reduce the impact of fire by external factors. If it's hot, we can drink more cold, or might eat ice cream, and we will feel less cold. But that's the impact on us of the fire. But fire is still as hot as ever been. So that's our dharma. Now, based on what I would really truly love to do. So my wife sometimes says that when everybody from the house, because when she's a wife, she's working from home, she's a mother, she's always so busy doing things for others. And she says when everybody goes away, so like we have a class for the kids at 11, well, quarter to 12. So we will leave home around a quarter past 11 and we will come back half 11. So me, Aryan, Shivani, all three of us will go. And she says, when all of you are gone, then what do I do apart from the house chores? That's truly what I like to do. And that's what Srila Prabhupada said, that somebody came to Srila Prabhupada and said, what shall I do? Because, and it happened in Bhaktivedanta Manor, because Bhaktivedanta Manor was the headquarters, and still to great capacity it is, especially in Europe. A lot of people, a lot of devotees from different European temples used to come, and Srila Prabhupada was traveling. When everybody found out Srila Prabhupada is in London, they came and they said, "Oh, Prabhupada, we have done this, we have done that." And there was one devotee who was just listening. And at the end, he went to Prabhupada and he said, "Prabhupada, so many devotees doing so much for you and for Krishna. What shall I do?" And Srila Prabhupada said, and that's where the dharma, the definition of dharma could come, that Srila Prabhupada said, "What would you like to do?" And he said, "I will do anything you say." Prabhupada said, "No, not what I like to do. I would like you to do for Krishna, not what Krishna would like you to do for Krishna. What would you like to do?" And again, he said the same thing. And Srila Prabhupada said, "Go think about it." And then he came back and he said, "Prabhupada, this is what I can do, and this is what I would like to do." And what it was, that Prabhuji, he worked in a factory, and he said there are mridangas in the temple. And so Bhaktivedanta Manor still get a lot of shipping, a lot of instruments, and then distribute rest of the Europe. And those days, of course, the transport was much harder. And a lot of mridanga, they used to go bad. And he said, "I can repair them." And he said, "You repair them." And that Prabhuji got so renowned that he used to travel to repair mridangas all over the places. He used to stay here. So somebody, a devotee at Manor, told me this story, this pastime. So what is my dharma is whatever skills Krishna has given to me and whatever I can do the service in.
Okay.
That's what it is. It's as simple as that. That whatever, and Krishna has given some skill to everyone which we can deploy, we can use in the service of devotees. Whatever it is, it could be the cooking, it could be the cleaning. So Srila Prabhupada always said that if so somebody said, "No, Prabhupada, I don't have any skill. I don't have any skill whatsoever. I can't do anything." So Prabhupada said, "Okay, take that broom and start cleaning the temple. Can you do that?" And he said, "Yes, I can do that." He said, "See, you can." So the only thing we need is the desire to help. If we have the desire that we can serve, then I think somebody asked Guru Maharaj Ji, and the same question was asked from Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj, and they both were so. Guru Maharaj Ji, His Holiness Jai Pataka Swamiji, Guru Maharaj Ji is been there in Mayapur for many, many years. He was, of course, traveling. And Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj was there in Mumbai. But Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj was in London, then he was in US. In US, somebody asked him, another devotee few years back asked the same question from Guru Maharaj Ji in Mayapur. So from India to Mayapur, such a different place, same question was asked from different people, different time, but the answer was same. And the answer comes from Srila Prabhupada because somebody had asked this question, and I read this in the kind of autobiography of Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj, the book Journey Home. And in that, Maharaj explained that what Prabhupada said to a devotee which he heard. And that was that the question was that one thing, if I need, just one thing. And out of all those things we discuss, one thing. And the answer is just a desire. If we have desire that we want to serve, Krishna will give us the skill to serve. Krishna will give us the time to serve. So another devotee said, I want to, I have desires, I want to serve. I have the skills, but I don't have time. And the answer was still the same, that if your desire to serve is strong enough and pure enough, that not that we want to serve to have our name on the board, but we want to serve because that's what we consider now is as our dharma, that we would like to. And the reason we want to do it, they are twofold. Of course, if we will serve, others will get benefit, devotees will get benefit. And why we want to make devotees happy? Because what Bhagavad Gita says, in Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna himself says, nothing else pleases me if somebody pleases my devotees. And the whole thing we would like to do is to please Krishna. Just like the children would like to please parents, parents would like to please children. So when we buy the toys, when we buy the ice cream, chocolate, whatever the kids would like, even though we don't think kids are ready for it, but still we know this is what kids want, and we will give it away. And the children sometimes, hopefully, they would think the same way. So that's the reason devotees would like to do, to serve devotees, other devotees, because it's dearer to Krishna. But the other side of it is spiritually more important, which is that while we are serving, because the serving is not easy, it has its own challenging, whichever way we would like to serve. Initially, it feels very pleasant, but after that, there are lots of challenges in it. But when we start serving, after that, during that process, we will purify ourselves. Our anarthas will go down. The number of anarthas we have, they will go down. The extent, the strength of, they will go down. Somebody gets angry. And if you are humble and serving others, forbearance, just the tolerance level will go up. And you will see, we just like we say, the gold has the impurity. And if you will burn in fire, the gold is burning, but during that process, the impurities are going away, and what's left at the end is pure gold. And that's what happened with us. We have the pure consciousness, the soul is pure, but we have a lot of anarthas there on top of it. When we serve, slowly, gradually, they go away, and what's left at the end is that true self-realization of Satchit Ananda. So it's two ways. It's external, serving others, but more important that it's going to help us internally to purify ourselves. So whichever we say. But very good question, Mataji, that dharma, what is dharma? And it's just the desire, if you would like to have it, get associated with devotees, see whichever way we can contribute and nowadays, whether we can connect to the manor or go to the manor, and there is a hospitality team, you could just go around and show people, or I can't do it, I can only do one day or maybe 2 hours in the whole week. I can only serve that. Some devotees I know, they work very hard Monday to Friday in the corporate world. Saturday and Sunday, they will go to the temple. Some, they only come Sunday morning. That's it. Couple of hours, 4 hours. That's it. When we used to travel, it's only Sundays we are there. If we are there for 4 hours, 6 hours, we will serve whatever we can. And that's it. So every little pure devotional service is accountable, and it helps us. It helps us to move further and further and further. That's it. The true nature of ourselves, what we want to do, not to show anyone, not to pretend anyone, the true nature, the real true nature when nobody is watching. What do we do then? That's our dharma.
Yeah, very nice. Well understood. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much for that, Mataji, because it's so important, because the whole idea of self-realization is to realize our dharma, that what is our true nature. And if we say what Bhagavad Gita says and what Srila Prabhupada explained again and again, it is because we are spirit souls. And if we are spirit souls, that there is only one thing we are, which is Satchitananda. We are eternal, whether we realize it or not, but we are eternal. chit, we are conscious, we are very, very conscious, and we are aware. And Swami Vivekananda was a living example of how. Paramahansa Yogananda was another one. And of course, Srila Prabhupada was a legend who proved this, that he, not only for himself, but he used to see everyone as a spirit soul, not the physical body. Of rich, poor, doesn't matter which culture people come from, doesn't matter what's their skin color. He just accept everyone as a Krishna devotee, and he served everyone. He really, 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 and because he walked his talk, and that's the reason if he had so many followers. So somebody asked someone that why your guru is so popular, why he has so many disciples, because Srila Prabhupada was not the very first one who went to America to take the religion. There were many more before. And then the direct disciple of Srila Prabhupada was that because he's not only the one who come and who sits on the Vyasasana and say good words, what he says, he does. And how it's proven? Because he used to have servants with him who used to serve, because obviously he was very old. So he need assistant to help him around. And those people, they have written books that we have seen how he has, like when no one was around, when he was alone, when Srila Prabhupada was alone, how he used to live his life. He has seen that. And similar thing, many other, like in Delhi, there was, well, Amog Leela Prabhuji mentioned it, but he referred it to someone else who wrote in his book regarding another Maharaji who was traveling, and he was giving lectures and he wasn't feeling well. And at the end, he went there in his room and went straight to the bed because he was so tired. And when his servant who was serving him said, anything I can do for you? And he said, no, I'm okay. You are also tired. You go away. You also take a rest. And then for some reason, after 5-10 minutes back, when this disciple came back, this Prabhuji, Maharaji, was chanting, and he put the lecture from Srila Prabhupada. And throughout, he said, night, he heard Prabhupada's lecture. He slept with mala in his hands. And he said when he woke up in the morning, he was in the shower. He came out and he said, I went there at that time. The lecture was still going on. And then I thought lecture is just in the background. But when Maharaji came, I greeted him. The very first thing Maharaji said, listen to this lecture. Prabhupada has explained these things so nicely. And then he said, I felt that Maharaji was tired and he was sleeping. He just put it in the background. Maybe he didn't listen to the lecture. But not only he listened, he meditated on the lesson, and he can condense that lecture and give me the gist of it, what the lecture was. And this is how the devotees are, that not a single moment is wasted. Whenever we have time, if we can't read, it's such a blessing Krishna has given, that we have 2 ears and they are always open. Even when we are sleeping, it's always open. And when I was doing I was in the university, I remember there was another student who was doing a research. He was a PhD student. And I was discussing something with him. And what he told me that the research he's doing, he wanted to do some experiment on me, which I did. But I can't really say whether it was successful or not, just from my experience. But because I was just one person, but he did research on many. And then he read, as a part of his PhD, he was researching. And one of the findings was that even when we go to bed and we are sleeping, but if we put something, like he said, if you record your lectures and you listen to those lectures when you're sleeping, then information will get into you. So he did the tests. Some students, they will go and they will not attend the lectures. They will just listen the lectures in their sleep. And I forgot now. He gave me the name of that. Like it's a kind of process which happens. and he was doing PhD in that, and he had a success story. So he was sharing it. Amazed. I did try that, but again, from my own experience, I can't really say whether it was successful or not. But from his perspective, it was a success. But when I heard this example about Maharajji, then that reference came into my mind that not only spiritually but materially also people make good use of it. That when you sleep, of course, when you sleep, they say go and have a light, have little light music going on. This will always help you sleeping. But knowledge-wise also, when you go to bed, it helps. It really, really helps. So listening is very important. In the when Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, they explained to their kids when they were only little, and their friend says that, oh, we are little, we can't do devotional service. What are you saying? And they said, well, there are many different ways of devotional service. And the first one is Shravanam. Both of them said it, Shravanam. So listening is the very first one. So always keep listening, always, whenever we have the time, just listen. And to a great extent, in our family, sometimes to the annoyance of the kids as well. I always have something there in the morning. We have, I'm here in Aryan's room, and we have Prabhupada's box. It says audio box. And all the lectures, it's a bit old now. When I say old, it's like 7 years old. All the lectures of Srila Prabhupada ji and all the melodies of Hare Krishna he used to have, they all are put together in one, and they are there in that box. So if somebody wants, we can have that box. So in the morning, I put that, so I'll wake him up, but obviously he will take some time waking up, and I will put something, and he's just listening. Of course, sometimes he will shout at me to stop it, but that's what I meant. But they are always there in the morning, Mangla Aarti, and these days we could have it. It's so easy to have it. So devotional service, it's great to have. Thank you, Ajay ji. You go your Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Is any difference
Yes,
between dharma and duty?
Dharma and duty is, yes, there is a difference. It's again, duty, if we see, is in English, and sometimes it's a loose translation that I remember
Say
somebody in
actually kartavya
yes,
and dharma.
yes. So, but again, when we say dharma, that's because we say we are spiritual, right? So if we realize the true nature of ourselves, then that has to be spiritual, whichever form it will come. But because we are spiritual, again, the way it says that we are not material beings having a spiritual experience, we are actually spiritual beings having material experience, because we are in material world. One day we will close and we will go, and we will have a spiritual life afterwards. And most of the religion, we say, they will say the same thing, that of course there are differences what they will say, but they will accept one thing without a doubt, that there is a life after death, which means there is a after death life, which means this life we have is just a preparation of what will happen after life, which is more important than what's happening now, which means this is material life and that is a spiritual life, which means a spiritual life is more important than material life. Now, when we realize the true nature of ourselves, it got to be spiritual, and that's dharma. But duty could be material as well. So the duty of husband, it could be to take care of the wife. Duty of the father could be to grow the kids and provide all the material benefits, and that could be duty. And again, yes, like we say, kartavya, that could be like a literal translation of duty. Duty of somebody working in the corporate environment is to deliver what's supposed to be delivered, right? For whichever job somebody has been hired, you deliver that job, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's our duty. But dharma is not whichever phase of life you are and what is your duty, because duties will change and duties do change. Duties for a son will be different for parents. Duty for a son, duty of a husband for the wife will be different. Duty for the father, for mother, for the children will be different. Duty of a person for the society will be different. Duty for a student for the society will be different. What a student can do for the society, what someone who's a young professional, what that person can do. Someone who's a successful business person, what that person can do for the society. So these duties will change, but dharma will always stay together. Of course, we can say that some skills will come and go. So it's like we said, somebody that didn't know how to play kirtan or how to sing, and then person got skilled in it, right? So not that the dharma is to play skills, play kirtan or deploy your skills, but dharma is to serve. Now, whichever way we serve, that's different. Whichever way we do it. So in that respect, duty is material. However, that could make us a bit more spiritual. But when we say dharma, then dharma is basically spiritual. However, if we are a good spiritual beings, then that will definitely help us in our duty to serve everyone better, and then our duties will get better as well. So very similar, but where materially duties are driven, dharma is that true nature which cannot be taken from us. So whenever we say enlightenment, it's not that something has been achieved, and that's the reason it's self-realization. We have just realized what we already had. So it's more intrinsic, it's more internal. Duty is external. We do it for others. Of course, a devotional service also we say we do it for others, but the initial point is that desire to do. In duty, we might not even have a desire. Duty is like when we go to the job, not that we really want to do the job. We still do the duty. Like I think especially it comes in the families when somebody say, oh, where the person is, oh, person has gone for duty, right? So the duty is not what you want to do. Duty is what you need to do, what you have to do, maybe to earn your living. So it's more material in that sense. So that's one differentiation I could make for the duty and spiritual dharma.
Thank you. Got it.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you
Krishna.
so much for that
Thank you.
question. And these questions, these discussions, they really make us think towards the life, and it makes a lot of things clear for us. That when we make the decisions in our life, it helps us. It certainly helps. It's not only helps us. If it's clear for us, we can make the next generation clearer what's in their mind. So one of the lecture I was listening this morning, it was said that so I think it was Kabir's Doha which was referred, and in gist it was that the pleasure. So this is Kabirji saying in one of his Doha, and I don't remember the Doha, but the essence was that the material pleasures we can get in the world are not even equal to the fraction of the bliss we get while taking the name of the Lord, Rama. So that was the essence. That of course, when we go on holidays, we go on 5-star hotels or any kind of material comforts we have, we get some kind of pleasure out of it, which is okay. That's the whole region, and that's why we go on holidays. Or maybe in our home, we try to gather a lot of comfort, and we get pleasure out of it. But they are all combined together. They are not even a fraction of the bliss we get by taking the name of the Lord Rama. And so this is the essence. But if you think what that could be, is that when we go and do duty, we earn money, and then we use all that money for what? We most of the time we try to make us our self-materially comfortable, right? Hardly anything spiritual is done. Of course, we can donate that money to the temple or to a spiritual cause, but mainly that money earned from the duty is for material benefits. But we have to work hard for that, right? Whenever the duty word will come, we need to do something. We have to do something. We have to achieve something. But taking the name of the Lord, we don't need to do anything. We don't need to go anywhere. Whether we are rich, whether we are poor, the only thing we need is a pure conscious, pure mind. It could be that the train is late and we are waiting for it. Some people will get anxious. Oh, train is late for another half an hour. And somebody else who's taking the name of the Lord might get happy. Oh, I go extra half an hour free so I can take the name of the Lord. Where can you take the name of the Lord? Anywhere. Anywhere. If we can't take the name of the Lord loud, so Guru Maharaj, especially in his youth, he used to chant loud, very loud. And that's how Srila Prabhupada actually suggested. But because if we are not taking loud, so Srila Prabhupada suggested it, Guru Maharaj suggested it, who is in his, who's very, very old now. But now coming back, another Mataji, Nittai Sevni Mataji from Vishakhapatnam, she said the same thing in one of her lectures. What she said was that never trust yourself that if you are going to chant in your mind, you can chant properly. Never trust yourself that if you are going to chant in your mind, you can chant properly. What does that mean is that we do need to, of course, it comes with practice. Once we have good practice enough, I think we can chant in our mind as well, because we are able to focus our mind because we have practiced it, right? It's like anything else, yoga practices. So initially we need the warm-up, we need to practice so many hours, and then somebody could make the posture. But somebody else who has, for example, Baba Ramdev, he has been practicing for years. If he needs to take a pose, he will just come and he will take it. And why it was easier for him? Because he has done that practice. So when we chant, we say, because it's hard for us being the practitioners to engage our senses, so we chant loud, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And while we are chanting loud, we are also listening. So at the same time we are chanting, we are listening, chanting and listening. So these two things happening at the same time. But of course, when we are just in the mind, then it's hard and it could go slowly, gradually, you can fall. So why we said that when we were saying the duty, it's external, but taking the name of the Lord, which apparently gives you more pleasure, and nothing else is required for it. For your duty, you need to have some skills. You need to be qualified enough to get better and better and better. But for your dharma, just to realize that bliss, that Satchitta Ananda bliss, that you really, really need nothing else. Just that desire that you want to take the name of the Lord. So this is what I was listening to in a lecture this morning, referring to one of the Doha from Kabir Das ji, that if you are poor and if you don't have, so what is the yardstick of, so if somebody is materially successful, you can see if the person has a lot of wealth, right? If somebody is spiritually successful, that person will be less attached to things, and then person will have less things around him, right? His life will be simple. Prabhupada ji always said that simple living, higher thinking. So the thinking is very high, but the living is very, very, very simple, not attached to anything. Hare Krishna. Mataji, please.
Can I ask another question, since we are on discussing different points?
Please.
One thing is, Sat, we mentioned Sat Chit Ananda, Chit consciousness, But Chit is also interpreted as being knowledge.
Yes. Yes.
My problem.
That's right.
Chit is consciousness. I always, but then, so I get confused.
Yes. No, Mataji, you're right. So there are two words. One is awareness and one is consciousness. Now, these two words people use interchangeably, but there are big differences in that.
Aware.
So let's take the example of when the person is sleeping, and it's easy to understand, I guess, but it's hard to realize because when we go to bed and we sleep, now, as it says, there are two kinds of sleep. One, and there are names for it. I think it's called RAM. There's a word, rental antenna, and so in that we are not in deep sleep. We are sleeping. It's like when we are sleeping, and even if somebody will say, and we will wake up in a straight away because we were not in deep sleep. But when we are in deep sleep, that's when you will take the hand of the person and throw it down, and the person will not wake up. But the first one, where the person is not slept, not in deep sleep, you will just shout the name and the person will say, yeah, person will respond straight away. But the person is still sleeping, or we say half sleep. So sometimes we are aware of things. Well, right. Okay. So there are two other words. One is conscious and one is consciousness. One is conscious, another one is consciousness. So conscious is very close to awareness, but consciousness is not. And that's where these things are different. But again, taking the further example of deep sleep, when the person goes in deep sleep, and this is an Upanishad, the person is not conscious because person is not aware of things around. The person is not conscious because person is not aware of things around, but consciousness is there. The consciousness is there. Now, this is what I was saying, that it's hard to feel and experience. But let's take the example of I'm looking for a torch. So, well, we have a candle here, but let's say we have a torch. So if you have a torch in our hand, this is a pen. But imagine if this is a torch, you enter into a dark room and you open your torch and you might not see anything, right? And sometimes, I remember this used to happen in our childhood because I was born in Delhi. And a lot of those days, every other day, because there are lots of people in Delhi, the transformers used to get overloaded and it will break. Now and then it will break. Like once in a week or once in 3 days, it will break. And it's dark, pitch dark. Then later on, we got generators, inverters. But there was a time none of them was there. We only had candles and torches. So if torch is there, you switch on the torch, pitch black, you will not know whether the torch is working or not. And sometimes we will put our hand at the front of torch. Right? We will put hand at the front of the torch just to see if the torch is working or not. Now see what we have done. When the torch is on, the light is there. And this is consciousness. Light is always there, right? But still we can't see anything. That's conscious. That's awareness. We are not aware of things. We can't see anything. And somebody will say we can't see anything because it's dark. Partially that's true. But we got light in our hand. So why it's dark? Because this light, this consciousness is not falling on an object. So if the object will come, then the object will be, we can see the object and then we will be aware of the object. If object is not there, we are not aware of the object, but the consciousness is still there. So if we say conscious and awareness for now, same, but consciousness is different. Consciousness is that true nature of ourselves, that the consciousness is always there, but we are not conscious. Why? because that object and that consciousness, they don't align with each other. It's a hard concept, but think of this. It's a very powerful, and this is what happens for enlightened being. For enlightened being, they are fully conscious. They are fully conscious, but now they don't have any objects. The objects are kind of obstacles for us. So, for example, we are there, and let's say I'm in the I'm early 40s, right? And I will see a young girl there, and a sadhu is also there. Could be of the same age. Well, His Holiness Swam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj Ji, he's of the same, exactly same age as mine. We were born in the same. Now I'm materially driven. He's spiritually enlightened. Both of us will see a beautiful girl. For me, that's an object. For him, because he has realized his true consciousness. For him, that's not an object, right? So for him, that's not an obstacle. But for me, that's an obstacle. So when the consciousness is always there, but the objects come and go. And when the person is fully enlightened, then these objects are not there. Well, physically they are there, but they are not obstacles for us. Because, so another word is Maya. And there are different translations, but one of the common translation is illusion. Illusion is a beautiful girl, a tasty food, an expensive car. All these are objects, and they all become hurdles. For a spiritual being, the spiritual being knows that all these things are illusion. All these things are Maya. They will give us very, very, very temporary, short-lived pleasure. But while we having that pleasure, that will deprive us of the spiritual eternal bliss. When we having this, so it's like somebody eat food and say it's so a lot of I was on business trip, and a lot of people, because you get free alcohol, so people will say, and this comes again and again, they say it's free alcohol, such a high quality, you will never get it. If you never started drinking, drink it now. You don't know what you're missing. And it's the same thing. I tell them, I can't explain to you that just because you're busy in that fractional, very, 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 very small, short-lived happiness, what the kind of bliss you are missing, you can't, I can't explain it to you guys. And it's hard because they have all those obstructions. So that's how it is. So the question was awareness and conscious. It's different. Awareness is basically whether we are aware of the material, physical things or not. But the conscious, or if we connect back it to consciousness, that is whether we can see these things as illusion or not. So awareness is very material, very physical. But conscious or consciousness is whether spiritually we can see the true nature of these things, that these things, they are very short-lived. So the word comes shan bhangur. So they are going to shan is momentarily. So we are aware of these things, but are we conscious that these things are obstacles? That's the difference between awareness and consciousness. So we are aware these things are there, but are we conscious? So we sometimes say, are you conscious of the things you are eating? Right? And then I know I'm eating burger, pizza, I'm having a lot of cafe. Are you aware? So another example from the conference I went, a lady was there right at the front of me, and very experienced in industry. So I knew her from the past as well. So we were laughing. She said, so there were 3 coffee machines, and so I was right behind her. And I don't drink tea or coffee. So, but I was there chatting with her, and there were all others around as well. But she said to me, the first coffee machine, second coffee machine, the third coffee machine. The third coffee machine was purely for decaf. So you have a lot of caffeine, and decaf where you have some drinks, but they don't have caffeine in them. So she said, and this was after lunch. So she said, I'm going to go for decaf now. I said, why? So she said, because I'm conscious now. That's the word she used. She said, I'm conscious now that in the morning I had a lot of caffeine. So whether she was aware, yes, she was aware, she knew it. She was taking, she must have taken 3 coffees in the morning, and she was aware all the time she's drinking. But the consciousness only came when she made the decision that she's not going to take another caffeine, and she's going to go for decaf there. So that's a subtle difference between awareness and conscious. Awareness might not change our decisions. We are aware of it, we are having it. We watch and we see, and we kill our time. We are aware of it, we are killing time. But when we become conscious of it, that's the time when we say the penny has dropped, which means we have realized it now, and we will not make the same mistake again. So conscious, if we become conscious, and we do become conscious, that will change our life. Or that should change our life. Awareness is very light. Yeah, we know we are doing it. So sometimes another this is again going back to the uni days, and I never forget such a profound statement. I was working part-time, and a girl, she was very well built. So somebody said to me, well, the kids, that we don't say, they must be learning in school, that we don't say somebody is fat. We should say somebody is well built. I thought, okay. So someone was very well built, of my age, and she said to me that when people say to me that I'm fat, don't they know that I see myself in the mirror every day? Don't they know that I'm fat? Why do they say that? So again, she was aware of it, that she was fat, but whether she was conscious of what she was eating and not. And of course, the reason I think she could share it with me, because I think I never said to her that she was fat, and I think she was openly share with me. And this is what happens in a spiritual. When we get associated with friends, devotees in the temple, and when we will do, so after Shri Īśopaniṣad, we will start Nectar of Instruction. And one of the instruction in Nectar of Instruction is, what do we exchange with the devotees? And one of those things is, we open our hearts with the devotees. And we open our hearts with devotees, then first thing we become aware. Well, when we get the replies from devotees, we become conscious. And then that consciousness changes our life, because that consciousness makes us wise enough to make those very, very subtle changes in our life, which everyone says, especially in the lifestyle these days, that there are only small changes we need to make in our life. Very small changes, and the impact are huge, but the changes are it could be like somebody said, from white bread to brown bread, from adding white sugar to brown sugar. So very small changes, but we need to change from awareness to consciousness, and consciousness is what will help us to change our decisions. So thank you so much, Mataji, for that. And these questions are great.
And you are so knowledgeable, Prabhuji, that you can explain it very well as well.
Again, Mataji, it's just coming from Guru Shishya Parampara. We keep listening, and Srila Prabhupada ji has explained so many things, and all other devotees, like Nitya Sevni Mataji, and she speaks Gujarati as well. She speaks like 6 different languages. Of course, English, Hindi, Gujarati, I think Tamil, Telugu, and Bengali she speaks very well. She's a doctor of teaching. She did doctorate in teaching. She's a principal of a school. And if you listen to her, then the way she explains things, her lectures are very compact, very powerful, and she explains through analogies. I learned a lot from her. And teachers and gurus like her. I've never met her, but the way she explains, and on YouTube, if you see her lectures, then they're always so living, so much examples. But thank you so much, Mataji. It really helps to keep us going, and it's the time now. So thank you so much for giving the opportunity to serve. Hopefully the session being helpful, and we will resume back next week, and we will take it where we have left in Shri Īśopaniṣad Mantra 14. Thank you for your assistance. Hare Krishna. Dhanvat.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat. Hare Hare.